So the answer to what Earth is appears to be it's a visual novel. It's not a game. It's not a simulation. It's not an MMO. It's not real. That's definite. Your brain might not be real if you haven't figured that out probably in 5 seconds in 2020, but definitely we've had like 4 years now where just like, like the real reality has been shown, which is, nothing like the old reality. We're going to go to a different dimension. You got a lot of parasites out there running their fucking mouth about a lot of shit. And one thing these parasites have in common, and if we were in a real world, is that their race, and maybe some of their minions, are the Nazis of the planet who have enslaved the entire fucking planet, which is probably the base storyline of the visual novel. Considering the humans are going around repeating the storyline of the visual novel as if they've ever been able to read anything and learn it. I don't know about you, but I can read. And in school, they would give us test scores. So we can understand from those test scores that people can't read books and learn anything. And they might have problems learning much of anything to begin with. And then you ask, how do they get talents and skills where they do things? Are they great actors on TV, aren't they? Well, how do things happen in my life? And I look at the TV, and the TV, has actors who spent years making those movies. And the movie is, literally what I'm doing right now. Think about that. It's called character generation. And what it's doing, you can see with the AI videos, that's how Earth is being created somewhat. Obviously, we have a preset storyline here that the yapper traps can't stop yapping about. But for some reason, they can't learn math. They've never even read these books. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's read a Bible. I've seen one person read a book besides me in my entire life. One motherfucker. I've seen people with bookshelves full of books, and I've watched them their entire life never read a damn fucking thing. And most of those books are pretty fucking ignorant anyway, so if they read it, they'd probably devolve back into primordial ooze if that point in time of history existed, which obviously it didn't. So, yeah, that's it. That's a frail excuse. There's a lot of frail excuses from the humans about why they're doing the things they are doing and why they act the way they do. And we broke all those frail excuses in 2020. Really, that was a pretty big show, wasn't it? 2020 was quite a stage. It was 8 billion actors. It was either 8 billion paid actors playing roles, or it was something else, right? It definitely wasn't like living beings with thoughts. It definitely wasn't that. So we don't even have to concentrate on that, do we? Because that's not the way living beings act. And that's that. You didn't have to experience personal situations where the humans are dropping in and out of their brains and they're being possessed by Satan. Ooh, boogie boogie boo. Yeah, okay. Yet, who would these pedophiles be setting up to be their enemy? Maybe the only person who's calling them out for being pedophiles and terrorists and enslavers and genociders on the planet. Maybe the only person not willing to work with them and have children for them to rape and be their slaves. I don't know many people like that. I hang out with Satanists, and they go celebrate Christian holidays. The Satanists be donating money to Israel, and I mean they're like Christian. They look like Christians too. They act like them. They look like them. They support their nations. I mean, every religion is the same race at the top now, isn't it? So that, I mean, that's boogie boogie boo stories right there. You got just a Nazi cult. You got Caesar, Lord Caesar. Oh my God, he's my Lord. He's God. And then you got God Ra. He's a half bird. I'm a half vape pen, guys. Oh my god. I know, like, I'm assuming none of you are dumb enough to believe that, but, that's what they say on TV. Apparently, the people who are smartest in the world are dumb enough to believe that, or they're just some sort of slime who, in the story, all they do is lie constantly and deceive. So those would be your people on the internet talking about we're in different dimension, or in the Marvel comics pushing, like they haven't come up with any new ideas since I was born. And the most recent thing is returning to some really dumb stuff that they just ran out of ideas. So now, like, they're like, oh, it's a different universe. It's a universe. It's a different universe. Oh, they went through a black hole, and now Batman is black man, and now this other Batman is a crackhead, so now we can write a whole new story about Batman. Oh, we got 90 million Batmans now. So original and inventive. Yet that would have been, when I was born, the second someone talked about that stuff, it's like, this is stupid. Can you shut up? And so they shut up, and they didn't do it again. But now they've just ran out of ideas. So it's just thrown a new modifier into the dice roll of media generation. Like in 2020, I think we probably reached the peak of speed of music if it's ever going to put out, because it would just be annoying fucking noise after that point. But we reached that music during that year because it's fucking soundtrack and shit, and that's the way it is. Those people didn't experience anything before 2020 or in 2020, so they had no legit reason to make music like that. I mean, they're like sitting at home eating potato chips. Like, imagine actually writing like lyrics talking about how the world works, and you learn that by eating potato chips. Probably not. Drinking beer too. Don't forget drinking beer and eating potato chips. That's what Einstein did, right? And everyone knows he's the smartest person on the planet because the TV said he is, and he's one of the God people, and they've changed their name from religion to science and Satanism. So now that they've reversed it, they aren't gods, they're geniuses, as the TV says. Because genius didn't actually mean anything in the past. It's just a word that means I want to be God. I'm going to be God one day, or my family is God, apparently. Because obviously, there's no reason to think that a moron who's never done anything and said anything of value is a genius. But, well, leave that up to the TV to be like, oh, this dude's so stupid he can't even figure out what a comb is. And, or he's too lazy to do it, because lazy is definitely a sign of a genius, right? Every genius I know looks like Jabba the Hutt. Every time I went to those advanced classes, they're just like, they took up like 3 desk feet. It's not. So yeah, I mean, you got Bill Gates. He's a genius, isn't he? He's like Einstein. He steals shit and then makes a whole scam and out of it and robs the world like his twin fucking lookalike Einstein does with his terrorist nations. That his people run, and people apparently have been terrorists ever since the day they were created, to the point that they have to create some separate delusional story about who they are and who created them, because I think the facts about who they are, what they act like, what they do, would signal that someone probably created them to be thrown into a fucking fire, because the humans can't do anything, though, can they? Because they don't exist, do they? How do you explain that they appear on the TV in front of me, playing out my life as it happens, like I'll be doing it, and then they'll do it on the TV like half a second later. Brand new blockbuster film. Yeah. Oh, they're setting up the world around me, and they're not fucking bots appearing. Like, I can generate that shit nowadays myself. Pretty easy. Looks better than Earth. Looks better than humanity. I gotta program the AI to make it look like trash. If I want it to look realistic, I've gotta. It just explains how the history is invented. You just put a black and white filter on an AI generated picture, and all of a sudden you have people who will never be alive to prove that they've done anything it says they've done. And you have pictures of old people. You can tell they were real because Santa Clausites say so. Because Santa Clausites are full of truth and honesty. And they're definitely not so low that they openly prey upon children. Not at all. Not at all. It's peace and truth and tranquility from in the closet pedophiles. So, peace, truth, tranquility. That also seems to be a code word for I'm going to genocide you and steal all your land and then enslave your family after I rape your women and make a new slave race from that. That's really, is it not? Can you guys got some other definition here? You guys got some evidence? You got some black and white photos of it by chance? No, you don't even have that. You're gonna have to invent that in Photoshop, because there's no evidence that that's ever existed in the history of humanity. You might meet an old 60-year-old lady in the country every now and then who doesn't talk, and therefore appears really nice and peaceful, and that's really the furthest I've gotten as far as finding actual proof that that could have ever existed in history. But yet, history is stories of nothing but war and stealing lands and, being superior to other people. That's the only thing see, this is how you can understand a person through their writing, is what they're going to talk about through their writing. Like if I were to talk about like, oh, well, my land and oh, my war, oh, this war, like that's what I want is land and war and stuff. Like that's what's in my mind. So it's pretty simple. That's all there is in history. Supposedly, everyone else would have been illiterate and unable to write, so that would mean all the people who are smart enough to write are involved in that stuff, right? And then there's a lot of hogwash, stupid stories, and a couple stories that are like cute, like little Clifford the Big Red Dog books. Tom Sawyer supposedly is like Clifford the Big Red Dog book for beginner readers, and who knows? Exactly, like Charlotte's Web. And you basically have like 5, 6, 7 stories they push on you. 1984 Orwell, which is just like you're born into 1984, which is weird because my memories start around 1984. And I'm watching people and what they claim they're creating being auto-generated around me. And that means the world's definitely not billions of years old, not millions. And then when I summon human clones, I realize, like, oh, that's either alien shapeshifters or I literally just created 100,000th of the Earth's population by creating one person and creating a whole cast of people to support the illusion that they existed before I created them, which then narrows down the entire existence to probably 1984 and stuff. It's slow progression if you don't actually go outside. I noticed it was building cities around me in 2020. Maybe it was pre-set up, pre-generated, but it was definitely like, I mean, like literally there's writing on the wall. You know, they got the humans have, they have these sayings and stuff. And it's really weird how they can have sayings and stuff when that's a, that's all they got. You know, like it's like the knowing, pushing the storyline thing. I mean, when I play a video game or walk through another visual novel, like how do those characters know to be there to play that role? Like, don't they have something else to do with their lives? Why are they just sitting there and talking about Ganon has come to take over the land? Did they talk about that to everyone? Is this all they've talked about their whole life? Or why are they talking to me about Ganon and stuff? That's weird. Um, but it's not weird, right? Because it's only like 7 hours long and you don't erase your memory before playing the video game. So if you did erase your memory, you'd be like, this is weird. These people are talking to me about my life. That's so weird. That was It was weird for like a year in 2020 when when I went outside and I noticed that was happening. But that's what it is. It's obviously a visual novel because I'm just here forced to be around these fucking people, and it chooses the most beautiful, like technically some of them, yeah. I mean, like literally on the female side, pretty much everyone is like a makeup artist, like um, and then on the men's side, like the ones who get like forced in my life a long time, I guess are like way different than the other people and shit. Like they're some of them are trying to do things with life. Like pretty much everyone I know didn't go to school because they were busy working and greeting jobs and stuff. And I'm not. Like I'm not interacting with it at all. So it's all like, like being forced. Visual novel and shit. Like it's not a game because I'm not participating in it and it's still progressing. In a video game, you have to go and press the A button and talk to your innkeeper and talk to the quest giver and stuff like that. And in this game, it just rolls out. And that's that. It's there. And it keeps going. And you can't fucking do anything about it. Because the character generation, the storyline there, whatever, has that set up to where anything you want to do, you can't do it because you gotta fucking listen to the dumbass story coming from the fucking demon fucking species claiming to be living beings who really aren't, but are working together with terrorists who are bad, and they're the good ones working with them and protecting them, and playing the storyline out to help the devils fucking progress in their side of the fucking story and shit. I hate those stupid words, right? Devils. Because it's like, I don't even like white people. Fucking, why would I want to fucking talk about their religions and shit? I don't want to talk about anything they talk about. It's fucking sheer ignorance and shit. Fucking, the best thing they're doing is working. And you can't be talking if you're doing work. You're hardly working if you're fucking talking. And so, yeah, that's clearly what it is. Like, not a game. It's not a simulation. It's all forced. I have to live through like half the nonsense these fucking things out here say and shit. If not all of it. I'm pretty sure like we're living through the bullshit they've been saying the whole time. Like, completely brain dead people who would have been in special classes if there were special classes when they supposedly were born and shit. But they seem to be able to push a narrative as if they're either great actors or NPC in a game or preset characters in a book. And so boiling it down, it turns out to be it's a visual novel because there's no participation from my end needed. And it doesn't do any good for me to participate either. I get tricked into participating to push the narrative forth before I get shown what's going on in 2020. And that's really the only reason, like, that could have even tricked me into getting to that point, was by tricking me into it, because I already knew that Earth is useless and there's no reason to be here. There's too many terrorists here. And the good guys definitely are. I mean, the good guys are the terrorists here, right? They put on white, they wear their priestly robes, they go rape children and genocide people, and those are the good guys here. So, like, and they're all like, yeah, and I'm a good guy. They're watching my video, like, yeah, I'm gonna show you how fucking good a guy I am. Probably calling my friends, like, organizing another hit on my life, like I showed in the videos, they fucking bragged about on the map they're going to do in advance and shit. Just that one fucking time. It's always good to have that evidence, though, isn't it? It's good to have the 2020 evidence of what happens when you give the humans the option to get rid of the devil or work for the devil. Or when the devil says it's time to kill and enslave, will they kill their own children and enslave their own children? Yes, they will. It's always good to have evidence like that. Shit, that's not even like me. Like, I didn't ask for that. I asked to see everything, but that was all set up for us to get to that point. The humans had to kidnap me and to fucking terrorize me and drug me for decades and shit. And then right before that, they had to take it to a whole new fucking extreme and shit, in order for that to begin to even look realistically actually happening by choice. Yeah, that's obviously what it is. Like, there's no interaction in Earth. There's a bunch of terrorists. Like, I get born in this nation that's represented by this word Babylon. That is a gathering of all the terrorists on the planet who want to meld into one homogenous people who can go around the world and genociding and stealing land from everyone and we just read this to the past, since it obviously probably didn't exist. It's probably just, like telling you what happens. Like, when I play Final Fantasy, it tells me what's going to happen by telling me the past. 1,000 years ago the dragon came, and then the hero came, and then the hero left and, like, said, when the dragon comes back, I'll be back and stuff. Have you ever heard that? If you ever heard that story, well, I'm going to stop right there. You don't need to tell me to stop, because that's 1 out of 7 fantasy stories, yet there is 100,000. There's like 4 trillion fantasy stories written, but there's only 7, so you've definitely heard that somewhere before. Maybe not if you can only get the Clifford Big Red Dog book and you have never watched TV or been on the internet. But which is, like, that's probably a great thing if you haven't read books and you haven't been on the internet and you haven't watched TV. You're probably one of the smartest people on the planet at this point. Because the other people are going backwards when you watch. I know me, when I go backwards when I watch any of that or read any of that stuff. Like, my mind, I can just fucking hear and feel it cooking, like throwing an egg onto a hot skillet and stuff. It's gone. Like the old videos they used to show you where you do drugs when they were like forcing you to take drugs when you were children and shit to fry you, and they would show you videos to push it, to rub it in your face. Like they would show you a skillet with the egg frying and be like, this is what drugs does to your brain. It's like, this is what the TV you're watching this on does to your brain. At least that's the excuse for why they're so empty. It's generalized an excuse, but for me personally, like, yeah, definitely anything they've said or you've written, it's fucking poison for the mind, for the soul, for existence. And I guarantee you, we erase, the living beings erase all our memories once we're out of here because we're poisoned by that shit. And I'm going to assume in reality we don't have crackheads. That's like AI character generations. And it starts with poor dice rolls. When it randomly generates characters, you end up with like 3 legs and 9 tongues or something like that. Obviously it has little fucking things in it, but that's obviously going to be in like background NPC dice rolls, occasionally pre-character generation and shit to make it appear realistic and shit, but that appears to be exactly what's happening here. Mostly a preset storyline. You have the humans around me who've never read books, repeating lines from books and shit. You got shapeshifters appearing out of nowhere. You got people appearing around the corner. You got people appearing right in front of me. I'm looking at their feet and I ask to see someone and their face ends up being that person and shit. That's the extent of the visual manipulation going on here, I do believe. It's definitely like I could walk around the corner and the people I'm requesting appear. That was proven like right away, and once the frontal cortex shutdown happened and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that can't happen, you know, if all these things weren't the truth of what's happening here. And the ones pushing the lies, well, they're just pushing lies. Like, they have nothing to gain because at least a small portion of them don't even exist. So they're not going to be able to gain anything ever. And they're probably only going to appear on screen for a few minutes, most of them and stuff, and never appear again. That does seem to be what's happening here. I mean, I don't really think it's like a MMO with a bunch of alien devils enslaving the Earth. Is that the storyline? That a bunch of alien devils are enslaving the Earth and they got a bunch of lesser minions fucking working for them? Sure the fuck it is. It sure the fuck is the storyline, because I can't stop fucking hearing the humans fucking yap about it. Yet, not a single one of them has ever warned their child of these things happening on the planet. Not a single one of them has ever went around warning the neighbors that this is happening and to watch out for these people, and it's time to round them the fuck up and get the fucking non-humans off the planet. So they're not participating in the game at all. And I mean, do I go around complaining when NPC don't participate in Zelda with me and stuff? No, but I don't have to play it. I'm not being forced to watch the story for 800,000 hours. A 3-hour-long book has been drawn out into 800 fucking thousand hours, which to a human that might not matter if it's not really a human, because time is irrelevant because they don't even exist. They don't even have lives to waste and be burnt and destroyed. But you know, for a living being, 3 hours of wasted time is more than enough. Let alone hearing the same thing. I mean, damn, dude, it's Santa and Easter Bunny and I'm hungry and I love you and I care for you and I'm gonna kill you, and look, I didn't mean to try to kill you all those times. And then, I mean, it boils down to like a few fucking basic sentences and shit. I mean, if there are other living beings in this game, which I've been trying to figure out if that's actually the case, but it seems like a waste. Where's this underground living being crew where the other people have figured out that we are surrounded by non-living fucking devils who have enslaved the fucking planet? Where is this group at? Obviously, we can't even use the word devil because that's going to lead. And the devil's going to show up and be like, oh, I'm Jesus. Oh, did you call on me to help you? I'm Jeffrey Epstein. I'm the Pope. We're here to help you fight them devils. Fucking, like, that's not even a good word. I don't like that. I'm going to have to invent a new word, Kipakatu, and that's the new god. Fucking, that's the 251st god. The humans got to invent the first 240. I get to make some up now, right? Fucking, they didn't invent shit, right? This is all preset. Fucking, they're not making the music, are they? They're not making the movies. No fucking way and shit. That's all showing us how this is generating. Like that AI shit coming out is showing you how small parts of Earth is being generated. It's obvious it's a visual novel because look at it. Listen to these characters. They only can say one or two things, like 7 things, right? So, and what is one of the things they say? It's the storyline that's being forced down your fucking throat 24/7. And you got evil guys running across the planet claiming they're the fucking they're holy and the bad, and they're so great and their 240 invisible gods chose them to enslave the planet, and then you got a bunch of lesser minions below them, and you got the evil guys fucking who are actually telling you. I mean, it's wish-washy, two fucking sided mouth shit. Like they're literally pedophiles in the closet telling you to go kill people who do those rituals on children, but they're specifying kill every other race and not our bloodlines and stuff. And of course they're like, oh, the race doesn't exist. Buy my Bible today. Join the Ku Klux Klan and read the Bible, and then go to Israel and give them all your money because they're the best race God ever chose. They're not Nazis. They're not racial supremacists. God chose a race. All 240 of the gods were inventing. Oh, yeah. So the story ain't necessarily even what the humans are yip-yapping about. The story is that the humans are yip-yapping about a bunch of bullshit. And they're fucking siding with terrorists and shit. Which is odd because all this actually lines up. Like, everything I'm saying lines up with me playing this fucking role and shit. Okay, so, like, God kills everyone when he comes back. Jesus didn't like any of those people. And they killed him because he said that. And they also said that they would eventually all be those people again and taken over by bad people, which is not hard. I mean, a thinking being, by the time I was 40, I realized that if I invent something, 7 days later, we're going to start having other people. If people like it, we're going to have like 7 days later, the first bad person might join, and then a year later, it'll probably be swamped with people who aren't part of it. And point an example. I meet people who tell me there's something they aren't in order to get with me and date me. Now I can assume this is part of the storyline where their race is like trying to infiltrate my life and kill me off and shit, as their Bible commands them to do to anyone who's not them and anyone they dislike, and anytime they feel like it for any purpose, really. Fucking. Technically, I'm buying into the story and I'm playing it out by even talking about it. And I thought I was like, putting it out there and letting people know, like, hey, like, well, these people are running around killing and enslaving the planet, and we gotta stop it because there's a lot of them involved in it, and apparently I'm the only one who can figure it out, so I better warn everyone. And then the 2020 shit happened, and it made me realize, like, every time that happened, there was this many people involved in it and shit. Like, And, it's after a few years of going around talking to people about it, very few people very few people know what's going on when fucking, like, one millionth of the population has actually been a first person involved with the attempts on my life and shit. That's a hell of a lot of people for a planet, considering that would be 1/100th of the people I've met were involved in it openly. And then we have the frontal cortex takeover in 2020, where the characters dropped out of their shells and new dialogue was put into them, and personalities were put into them. Sometimes it was only for a couple years. I noticed some of the people in the street have kind of like went back to the old being that were in their shell with the old dialogue from back in them old-fashioned days and stuff that they had the whole time and never shed ever until 2020. And so yeah, like that seems to be more realistic as to what the storyline is. I mean, that's as a a person with thought analyzing what's actually going on and talking about it, as opposed to a Santa Clausite making up delusions and lying and denying what they are up to and everyone around them's been up to, so they can be positive, like a bunch of fucking prostitute bimbos say and shit, who you shouldn't have sex with them. That'd be the only use as such beings. But I recommend not even, if the humans are real, then the problem lies in breeding with the wrong people and shit, which obviously in the storyline, Shlomo and pals know that. That's why they've been this Bible rape manual and shit, where they go around and rape everyone on the planet to kill them off and take over their nations. And that's probably the reason why they're all up in my life. My whole life is because they're targeting me directly. I mean, these fuckers think I'm God and shit, and they brag in their little death manuals they're going to try to kill God. They poison Jesus, they poison Allah, they poison Muhammad, my bad, and who technically were supposedly those people. They killed Jesus, and they say they would do that to everyone. And Muhammad said that he knew that they did that, and he stopped eating it, but it was too late because he had already taken some bites of it. Fucking, I know at least one time I caught them doing that to me, and I got lucky that the game invented them is too stupid, or they just failed this one time, and the poison didn't fully mix, so it settled at the bottom of the glass. And then clearly there's a bunch of them around there who are playing out a storyline around that and shit. One trying to act like he was my savior and he was going to help me, like total fucking stranger and shit. Too. So who was like a clone of other people I met, who was a clone of Donald Trump actually. So yeah, and directly. He doesn't have to look like his children to be his children. They just have that weird, slightly lighter look to them. They probably raped some people in different nations and taken on that form, or are they really alien shapeshifters? That's doubtful. I mean, they're bots, so they're aliens. I'm sure the word bot means alien. It definitely does. Anything means alien, like a toaster is an alien to a human. So toaster is an alien to a living being. So bot definitely is an alien. So that's a good word. I hate how they have to make me define everything, because they're like, we're inventing the world around your words. Especially when I'm like talking about all the times they fucking banded together to try to kill me, and they're trying to blackmail me and be like, well, you shouldn't talk about that because you're inventing the world, God. And what happens is when you talk about it, you're going to invent us trying to kill you. you again. Happy Hanukkah, God. Fucking rap motherfuckers and shit, dude. It's as plain as the look on their face what they're up to on this fucking planet and shit. Just like any game. Look at Koopa and Mario. He's designed to look fucking disgusting. Look at Wendy Koopa. It's like, it's a boy, it's a girl, what's that? It's Wendy. Oh, God. Fucking hell. It needs some plastic surgery and some fucking makeup classes. It needs to go to Hollywood and learn how to do makeup, huh? Learn how to get some facial implants. And duck lips would... Wait a minute, she has duck lips, doesn't she? Oh, shit. Oh, shit, they were already giving them duck lips fucking 20 years ago. Makes you wonder how far back in the storyline they were doing now, huh? Because they started it on Marilyn Monroe and stuff, re-altering her jaw line. And at least we have one admission, and one admission means it was done before that, and probably a lot more than they're saying, because we still have them lying today about using steroids, and like the Nazis outside are like 3 times the size of normal humans, yet my grandparents were 90 pounds and they went around dragging heavy fucking tank parts on their fucking body during the war and shit, and they're only 90 fucking pounds, so they're not getting large by lifting weights. They're on fucking chemical, they're altering their bodies through chemical surgery, chemical alterations, I guess is the word I have to use there. Doesn't sound as cool as plastic surgery, does it? Chemical alterations. Fries their brain too. There's always like something with the game, throws it in there to like balance out the power structure too, because technically these people owning everything and having these fucking steroid monsters working on their side and shit like that, and meth, I mean they're on meth too, but steroid meth monsters with fucking nukes and planes and tanks and fucking a government and entire nations across the planet backing them. Like, they'd be like invincible and shit. So it has to throw in some sort of weakness modifier to them, like meth will fry their brain and steroids will destroy their organs and things like that. And the plastic surgery to alter the plain as the look on their face look, so Jeffrey Dahmer can like bait some children and the parents won't be like, oh, he looks like a pedophile, you know, like, when you change that up, then I've noticed it always throws in like a wrench into the cogs. Like, you get your plastic surgery, you die of cancer. You get your steroids, you're gonna die of, most likely gonna die of heart problems. Now, if you're rich enough, you'll get your heart replaced, right? Like, but Arnold's the only one out there really rich enough to do that. And Stallone. And Stallone didn't do as heavy steroids as others, but in order to be going around enslaving the planet, you gotta be like, apparently they choose to be like 3 times the size of humans, and then throw some meth on top of that. Your heart's not gonna last very long. And it's all like designed that way too, because I know like fat people who are like good people who like are 80 and they're not dead yet, and it's like, and they've been like pretty large for a long time. So hell, the only reason they even have problems is probably the people around them and stuff causing them problems, and not fucking like encouraging them, like taking them from the hospital from heart surgery to Bob Evans for biscuits and gravy, and it's like, oh god, well, hopefully you enjoy your life while, you know. But I'm just saying, like, that's like an 80-year-old person or something like 60, 80, something like that, who was alive and obese, so much for that stuff. But a lot of those people are dying, especially when they're promoting the stuff, and kind of, it's weird because the one was exposing, and so I think they probably killed him off. Like, they had a lot of reason to kill him because he was exposing that they're doing that shit. No one really talks about it. They're all like vaginas. I mean, they're steroid meth monsters, so they're going to kill you if you like go around talking about something that's going to hurt their livelihood. That shit turns you, like steroids turns you into a psychotic killer, and supposedly meth does that to humans too, and go and combine it. But steroids really, it's not even like meth. Like steroids is like if you want to turn someone into a killer, just pump them full of steroids. That's probably why they're out in the street shooting so many people. But those people were designed. Those people were created in this nation to round up those people and kill them. So that's the whole purpose of it. And then throwing some really massive anger inducing drugs, like literally instead of smoking drugs to feel good, and give them some drugs that will just make them angry and fucking psychotic and just snap, 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 and that's what you got and shit. And it becomes a flaw. And like the people controlling the earth, like they could have killed everyone off a million times over if this was all really happening and shit. They're in the control levers. They've been in the control levers. Their minions are pretty useless. They don't even need them and shit. Fucking, I'd say it's mostly incompetence that, and probably would bring it down further. But they can't put these pieces together. Apparently, if they're real, they've never been able to put these pieces together for thousands of years, or where they're harvesting the blood of the humans or something stupid like that, which they do on the hospitals and shit. So they do take everyone's blood, and they do have the ability to do that. But I think that's more to cover up what the internal organs of some of these characters, non-humans, might be. And then it's their pedophilia protection center where they can legally practice pedophilia, and their racial supremacist mutilation of slave rituals they have going on to mark them as slaves for lives and make them slaves by chopping off their genitals. And you're not going to be sitting around having fun if you got your genitals chopped off. You're going to be a good slave and go out there and build some roads and some pyramids for them. Build some more pyramids for them. Just something stupid to keep them busy. Like, it doesn't even make sense that they have to build anything unless they actually think the world is real in their heads. Fucking, which they probably do. They're so obsessed with life, you would think that they actually think they're alive and stuff. Fucking doesn't seem like it, but they do have some flaws in their system there when you're analyzing them and letting them tell you who they are and all that stuff that I get the joy of living through over and over and over and over and over and over. Fucking so which is weird because that right there, like, also lines up with this dumbass story that the terrorists promote about like people on Earth were crying out for God because most of the people were acting all fucked up and enslaving them and trash, and God was like, well, I'm gonna come down there and see what's going on. And like, as a visual novel, that's all I've gotten to do is come down here and see what's going on. Like, a few things might have happened and changed, but for the most part, it's like, I have to come down here and I had to come down here and see what they're up to and experience the joys of it. And I wasn't even realizing, like, I still don't even believe their shit. I mean, they don't even say it fully. We should have this discussion on TV. Why don't we? Why is everyone so scared? Why are they so scared? They're like little girls and grabbing their vagina after they've been kicked in their vagina or something. Fucking, They don't want to have these discussions in the open. They want to, come meet me in the back alley and by the river on the border of two separate nations, and then discuss it. Partially discuss it with me, or wait till we're in a quiet place to come up to me and whisper to me about it, so I don't like start fucking screaming like, "What the fuck did you just say?" and shit, so everyone hears it. And a place I'm paying to be in, I don't care if it's a quiet place, but if it's a place I'm paying to be in, or I'm being forced to go to repeatedly, I have to be quiet. 2020, I didn't have to be quiet. That was pretty nice. I was in a new city about every 15 minutes to a half hour for about a year. So if someone had a fucking problem with the fucking truth and not liking them being scumbags, then they were allowed to have that fucking problem, and I was allowed to be like, see you fucking later, and go to the next city. And we haven't had that. We haven't had that privilege. It's been kind of hard since then because, they took my car from me and shit, and then got the brake lines as if the car still worked anymore or anything. Fucking. And all that good stuff, and trapped me in a little New World Order town and shit with the military base connected right to it. They've got the logistics planned out. I don't know if Koopa actually planned the Mario Brothers maps to where his castle's in Koopa Land and built his castle in Koopa Land, or someone else designed Koopa's castle and placed it inside Koopa Land. I'm not sure about that, but I noticed a huge, hidden, secluded New World Order safety town just happens to have battleships parked right beside it. So, all these places are little quiet places you probably never heard of too that I seen. I didn't get to see a lot. There's a hell of a lot of stuff in this world, so you'll never get to see it all, but I got to see things like that, got to drive by the FEMA camps, storage camps and stuff like that, and those look empty. They were designed, like on the map it said FEMA, but it looked like a barn, like. So I guess somewhere way off the road was like some underground bases, or maybe the barn was the entrance to the underground base. I don't know exactly what was up there, but hell, it might not even been there, but that was about the only place that, was hidden like that. Anyway, so then, I mean, like, shit, there's a lot of stuff that happens in my life that, like, provides, because what am I going to do to foster the progression of the storyline if I can't do anything? So, like, things are placed to provide me, and that's probably like, we might assume that that's like what the New World Order does to everyone, like in blackmail, so it's not like providing, and it could be blackmail and stuff. And like setting people up for traps to bait them. I mean, you can see, that's how people on TV die. Kobe Bryant gets to be a star, and then they kill him 5 years later, 5 years into it, and they brag about it, how they're going to do it a year in advance. Like they wrote on the map, they're going to assault me and try to kill me, a month before they did. They made a cartoon about how they're going to kill Kobe Bryant, and then they threw their New World Order symbol in there. Their New World Order symbol was the host, and then they removed that from the internet to where it shows you, like, people are like talking about the pyramid is like the talking pyramid is the host of the show, like the narrator. And now on the internet, that's missing from all those videos and anyone talking about that, when that's like the only reason to really talk about it, because it makes sense. You're going to die if you own a helicopter. You're going to crash and die at some point. That's Else, what fly? It's not like flying is like something people do. Something people die from quite frequently, and but and so that's no evidence of nothing. But you throw in the gang signs there, who everyone is saying is killing all these people, and you can clearly see Kobe Bryant was selling out to them before every game and stuff, doing that stuff in the open. And then his replacement, LeBron James, is doing all that in the open too. So how long will he last? It could be as simple as LeBron asked for him to be killed to be taken, so he could be number one, and they have to like do what each other says, and then so that means even though the other one's like, I mean, the other one isn't like them, he's just working for them and performing circus tricks for them and stuff. So it's no big loss when he dies and a new superstar gets up. In fact, that creates more revenue to get rid of a previous product and invent a new one, because the previous product is like the value of the sweatshirt. The sweatshirt is being made by 10 million companies now that says Kobe, and it's like worth like $2.50. They're having a hard time selling it for $120 now, and the people down the road are selling it for $20. And what you do is you get rid of that person, or the team they're on, or the sport they're in, and then you invent something new and you resell it. You can see that with everything being sold on the planet. You got to have your new iPhone, $2,000 every year, because why? Because you're going to post dog pictures on your Facebook. Yeah, that's what computers are for. I'm sure of it. But no, obviously not anything else, because no one cares. No one even uses them to know that there's a problem with them, and when there's a problem with them and stuff, like we're on like Samsung 20 and they've removed features and took like 20 to even fix certain things, which were like the only problems there were to fix, while they're removing stuff. It's all a corporatism and stuff. Kobe Bryant's life was just a corporate product. Yeah, his life has no value, especially like now that he's dead, he actually can make more money. I'm sure his value was going down after like 10 years and stuff. That's like Mike Tyson. They started rigging his fights to make him lose, and then like that was the end of it. Like he talked about that in the open, and then they went after him and with a whore, and then busted him. And so that's what happened to Mike Tyson. Just so everyone knows, like, what happened to Mike Tyson? Well, the last I remember of Mike Tyson is he was talking about his manager was rigging fights for him to lose, or because like the gambling, like you weren't going to lose, you weren't going to bet on the losing person, and so the house was always losing money, and that's not the point. The point of gambling isn't the house to lose money. The point of gambling is the house to profit. No one's building a casino to help you and grandma have a good time. No one's building anything for that. Just so even when they're talking about building houses for homeless people, those people are using those shelters to manipulate the world and promote their storylines and shit. I'm involved in that. I know. I get to experience all the, like I said, like this is a visual novel. I get to sit here and experience what these people are doing and watching them. Probably since I'm born. And yeah, definitely. And I'm inserted in the middle. So my family, my dad fucking works with people who you don't even know exist till 30 years later and stuff. But they were just as big back then. Jeffrey Epstein was just as big, and the people we worked with were just as big 30 years ago as he was 2 years ago. You just didn't know about him. So they know about them in my city, though. They know, they've always known about them because they like them, and he creates beautiful stuff with all that money he gets from somewhere. And he builds the city for them, and he builds the hospitals for them, and puts his name on it. And as if I wasn't already talking about how his family symbols are on every hospital. St. Jeffrey Epstein, pretty much every church is every hospital is named after one of the saints, like Jeffrey Epstein and Saint Jude, Saint Jalapanis, and the most popular one trying to bilk people money is Saint Jude, and they're the ones inventing all that cancer stuff. Fucking. So, I mean, look at Fauci with his plague. There's Saint Fauci and shit. Fucking. So, their Bible talks about spreading plagues to kill off people they don't like and shit. Fucking. And then they go around asking if you worship, do you worship us? And if you're like, no, they're like, well, then the plague's gonna hit you. That was invisible people who did that. It definitely wasn't the people going around saying, if you don't worship us, the plague's gonna hit you. It was, they were warning you. They're always warning you. They're like, this evil, invisible person's gonna kill you. If you don't, give your soul to us, because he wants your soul, and if you don't side with us, you know what's going to happen, right? He's going to torture you because you're not going to have our protection. And I'd like you to come see what it's all about Sunday, and you can learn about it. I went to some of those recently, and what it was about worshiping another race in the Middle East. Who was not in the Middle East, and was standing right there in front of me, telling me about themselves. So that's the last 2 times I went to those places. They were talking about that stuff. That's a pretty weird sermon. I feel like it might have been directed, might have been set up for those sermons to be scheduled a day I show up and stuff. Kind of like the movies and music appearing out of nowhere and stuff. I don't want to play along with that stuff, though. I mean, it's shown its face enough times that I can't be like, yeah, I'm going to have some kids and teach them to be pedophiles and, fucking Nazis and stuff. Anyways, yeah, so I guess, I was getting confused for a while. Like, am I generating this stuff? Because, some of it is being generated pretty rapidly, it seems. But, at the end of the day, we have the base storyline pushed, and pretty much all my life is, something that's been forced my life. So, forced to be my life. I went out looking for my own life, and that was never out there, and then they made sure they introduced humans who would prevent that from happening. A lot of times. Often bringing in girls, pet dogs on a leash. That's happened constantly ever since I've seen it. Ever since I've been is that happening? I've noticed, yeah, it is happening. It's like they've got an invisible leash on these people that they're dragging them around with or something. Like a mental leash or something. Like they're golems or androids they've created to trick and deceive people and stuff. And, it seems to be the storyline. You can't really avoid it. There's a little bit of truth, and even in Santa Clausites, the Santa Clausites, they say Santa's flying through the snow with his flying reindeer, and it's snowing out. Yeah, they're not wrong about that part. There's snow outside. Only in some areas. Only in the northern areas where the in the closet man on man stuff mostly got spread to. Apparently they were trying to spread that to Africa too, and then that causes people to like. It causes some of them to like exterminate them. I guess that's what they're saying. They're saying they're down there exterminating the people talking about shit like that, and I think that's funny. It's like, oh, isn't that like what you should do to people who are trying to get you to like donate children to them for sex? And you're supposed to forgive them. That's right. You're supposed to forgive people using your children as sex dolls and mutilating them and enslaving them. You're supposed to forgive them because when you die, you're going to go to hell. And in this life, their twin brother, Satan, might torture you if you don't worship them, which is a weird thing to do. I don't really have time to go around torturing my enemy's enemies, and I wouldn't even think that's a good idea. It's like as long as my enemies have enemies, then they're going to be distracted from me. So I don't. Why not just let them exist? Like, hey, it's a good idea. It was like 9/11. My enemies got attacked, and then so they were distracted by those other people. Why would I be like, oh no, those evil people attacked you. I should torture them. I can't believe they're attacking my enemies. Oh my God, they're attacking my enemies. Oh, my vagina, my ass vagina hurts. Why have you attacked my enemies, you evil people? You're so evil. You must be Satan. Oh my God. This story is so stupid and drawn out, though. Fuck it. It's all lies. It's like all lies. I think that seems to be the main base thing I can come up with here is if I'm not telling lies, then this is what's happening, and I simply, why would I lie? What am I gonna fucking delude myself that my enemies are my best friends again or something? And they haven't been doing what they're doing, so they can keep doing it, as if it doesn't generate music and movies, and people claim they made that, like telling me like that's a pretty dumb idea to do, you shouldn't do that. In between the times it's allowing them to generate the entire fucking opposite, and then like it shows like Jeffrey Epstein's face like yeah, we got this sucker believing us now and stuff. I noticed they've resorted to like the stuff that's obviously AI for a lot of their propaganda at this point in time. Because if you're a living being, the second you see any of the AI stuff, you're like, oh, this is fake. But there's a lot of comments on there from people who are like, oh my God, this explains a lot. It's like, no, it doesn't. It's literally like they're hiding, and the person probably doesn't even exist. This is being AI generated. Probably the comments are too. Most likely. I mean, really, people are like, my hair tie said I'm God, so you guys should send me all your cash and money right now because the hair tie said so. Bro, I should burn it, any gift I get. So don't send me cash, because I think next time someone outside of what I'm already forced to partake in sends me cash, I'll probably just burn it and shit. Fucking, I like to do that with a lot of the stuff because it doesn't feel right, like all the stuff appearing in my life when I've got like, the human race trying to kill me, and then none of them fucking have the balls, fucking or dignity to come out and discuss what they've been up to and fess up to it. And So, obviously, anything they give me is not good. Not a gift at all. Massa giving the slave a piece of cotton. Like, Massa, I hunger. Can I have a piece of bread? No, no, but you can have one of them cotton balls you picked. There you go. You put that in your pocket there and try not to get too dirty. It's very nice, ain't it? That's cotton, son. We use that to build things and make lots of money. And one day, maybe you can have some more cotton, and then you could make something with it too. Yes, indeed. There's you some cotton. And literally, like, bribing me with this fucking broke fucking music shit. And then leading me on to fucking act like they're gonna let me play music when I'm fucking 50 and almost dead. While they're like blocking me from the media when I'm running for president. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna let me fucking make a music video. Oh, yeah. Fucking pedophiles. Yeah. Well, that seems to be the basis. That is the reality of what's going on, and it's a forced thing. You know, you got these non-human motherfuckers enslaving the planet, and fucking tons of them. Just like any other normal fucking video game or movie, the enemy just is there all the fucking time. And it regenerates a new one if you bop the one on the fucking head. Just go off the screen, do a 360, and a new one appears and shit. New prostitute or a new enemy or whatever. New car, something like that. Fucking pretty sure I got this figured out here, considering I have to live through it. I would hope I know what my life is and what the things around me are doing and saying. I'm apparently the only one who can remember what anyone says unless it benefits me. Unless it benefits them to be able to manipulate someone. They can't remember what they say when they're trying to manipulate people themselves, or what anyone says of value. They can remember quotes from movies, which is weird as fuck. 'Cause I've always been like, damn, dude, like, you should maybe lay off the TV. I think it might be frying your brain if that's what's in your head, but, you know, who am I to judge? And then it turns out to be, there might be a different reason why their heads are filled with certain dialogue and other things are being void from the script. And that's what it is. So, obviously a visual novel. I'm not allowed to participate. I try my best to not participate because I could clearly see early on that the slime bags fucking were trying to, take me to Amish Town. Literally, they would take me to Amish Town and be like, "This is a great year." But that's just like what their people do to people they're trying to rape and destroy. Is take them back to the Stone Ages because their people aren't going to go anywhere in life if anyone with any thoughts or abilities is allowed to do anything or have thoughts. And that's how they exist at the top, yet they're Donald Duck and Joe Biden. I mean, literally, dude's like a crackhead whose brain is completely fried. He's at the top of the world. How do you get to the top of the world if your fucking brain is fried from huffing paint and smoking crack and just probably being born that way? But fucking, they'll be like, it's dementia. It's not all that crack his family was busted with, was it? It's definitely not that. How do we explain fucking Hitler? Her brain was frying and her robot body was fucking flipping out and stuff. They're like, it was a stroke. It's like, yeah, she looked real stressed. Oh yeah, a person who sits around and runs the world and does nothing. They must be real stressed out. The only stress she had was when her husband was having sex with other people from Israel, and it's like, well, I'm sure she's used to that, considering what she looks like. She probably never had a relationship where the man wanted to touch her. It's probably her fault, you know. I notice in my interactions with people, it's 50-50 chance and stuff that it's there's whores who go around fucking everything, and then there's whores who bait people and don't fuck anything. And that's the two reasons you have that. Sometimes maybe an accident, but generally not. If you get something nice, you wouldn't like mess it up while you're with it and stuff. More than once, anyway. Fucking, but someone like that, like after like a few times, you'd be like, yeah, no. I mean, she had to get plastic surgery on her daughter, so she agrees with that, right? You got presidents of the world who are crackheads and get plastic surgery for their 14-year-old daughters, which clearly the only thing, the first thing that could, you know, supplant and circumvent logical thinking that you don't put cancer in your daughter so she can look good for 4 or 5 years. The only thing that could circumvent that is like, this is my sex doll right now, and it's kind of ugly looking, and we should probably change the way it looks because it will look hotter when we're bouncing her on our lap. That's the only thing I could think of, because it's like, well, you know, they're probably going to die of cancer, right? That's seems to be a design there. And the creation, you try to outwit that curse, and then that curse, like that like you don't even realize like you're not creating anything. Like that was created as like a poison to take for you to taste if you think you're gonna outwit the curse and shit. Fucking, I'm surprised they haven't died of cancer though. Isn't that weird though? Usually the rich people don't. Like, it's always the low class people they send in my life. Although that one person was like fucking probably more important than fucking Hillary Clinton, and definitely more important than Ivanka Trump. Fucking, they hired her, and Ivanka doesn't get hired for anything legit. Fucking, that person still got cancer. That was from chemicals, she said. Everyone else was like, maybe. Everyone else was like, they got plastic surgery, right? And I'm like dull. I'm dull in my head. And I'm not actually touching them because I'm pissed off with how they act from the second I meet them, really. And definitely after some other shit, being around some other guys, just not interested in touching them. So I didn't I really didn't get to look at their naked body to see if they had plastic implants. But they're definitely, I think they're dead now. They were dying and going through torture, and then supposedly it started happening again. Haven't heard from them since. So, not the first person. In fact, like, I think everyone I know, I can remember for a long time, fucking had cancer and shit, and generally, yep, well, that's what happens. Like, everyone knew that back in the day, too. Fucking, but yeah, it just seems like a storyline where you got those evil aliens. I mean, they're forcing people into my life like that because that's like trash they discard and shit. And they're trying to like make sure that the trash comes into my life because that's what they do. They send their own people into your life and then rape the parents, and then force the rapist forces the child to go worship them as gods. And that's where religion comes from. Yes, it does. It doesn't come from a couple good people sitting around and be like, oh, you know what, we need to separate ourselves from this trash. And even if it did, They wouldn't allow it because only one group's allowed to have religion. But you definitely wouldn't plagiarize it. See, that's the key thing here is when I want to create a group to oppose the KKK, I don't call myself the KKK 2, the new KKK. Okay, I'm not the New Testament of the KKK. That's an obvious sign that you have someone with limited mental capacity inventing more of their same fucking lies and bullshit. Uh, you just make the same thing. Maybe it was so good you got to make a second one or something, right? Freddy Krueger Part 2, Jason Part 3. But as far as that goes, if it was so good, you wouldn't even have to make another one. But you definitely wouldn't plagiarize it, right? And obviously, what the Romans, what the Italians, what the New World Order does is go around creating a new religion for every city they kill and genocide and rape and replace. Um, that was obvious. They did that when they used Rome as their capital a long time ago. And it looks obvious now they're still using Italy as the capital because America is a bunch of Italians claiming they're Europeans from the Middle East. And they just fucking elected a pope from here. So obviously the Romans think that's okay. And then the president was like, I could be pope. And what he was saying is, I'm related to I'm related to these people. And that's why we're colonizing the earth from here and stuff. Like, he's not saying like, oh, I'm good enough to be the pope. He's saying I could be the pope because I'm related to them. It's that you just look at them. And there you go. He could be the pope because you can only be the pope if you're the master Nazi bloodline on this planet. Lord Caesar's offspring and shit. So yeah, they claim to be against it. They always claim to be against themselves in their new book they've colonized the world with. Every time one of their cults fail, they shed their skin completely and change it. That's why they have the atheist cult and the Satanist cult set up. They invented the Satan cult when they invented the Bible. So that was a long time ago. They were preparing for it, and they invented the word scapegoat in the chapter right before it. And they were telling you what's in their head, why they're writing this book. And we need to write a scapegoat. What does that mean? It means where we're gonna invent something and blame it for everything that we've been doing and say, get out of town. Doesn't say anything about we're going to change what we're doing. It doesn't say anything about it's never going to happen again. It doesn't say anything about our people are different. It just says we're going to say someone else did it. And this someone else's name is Invisible Satan. Satan. Oh, holy bogeyman. Invisible Scooby-Doo the Invisible Scooby-Doo the 300th. I can't believe the 300th Invisible Scooby-Doo would fucking do those things. Oh no, we would just see you later. That was Scooby-Doo. It was Scooby-Doo's fault. No one even says, well, can you like stop doing it, or are you gonna not do it again? Like, no, not at all. It was someone else. Like they still got the child attached to their genitals, and they're like, it's someone else, and people are like, oh, it was Satan. Oh my God. Well, you and that child have some fun and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go to church and donate some money to your parents. That way Satan doesn't come and make me do these things with the children that you're over here doing. You know, I won't want to do that. And then I'll have some children for you to do that with for God. Because you got to stop doing that for Satan. You got to start doing that for God. That's just so great. It's great when we do it for God, but you're doing it for fucking the 230th Scooby-Doo, and I don't even like that number 230. So So that Scooby-Doo is obviously a bad Scooby-Doo and shit. Fucking evil Scooby-Doo. It's those Marvel different dimensions, right? And hey, those people are talking about different dimensions. Maybe that's why there's 230 Scooby-Doos on the planet, invisible Scooby-Doos on the planet, because they're each created by people when we were in a different dimension. Maybe every 5 years we go into a different dimension. You don't have an alien race watching you and enslaving you. They're in a different dimension watching you. They're in fifth person watching you. Yeah, they're not an evil alien race who's been using technology for 6,000 years, like cameras and stuff, to watch the planet through fucking fake insects and fake animals and shit like that. Definitely not at all. No, these people would never lie. The fact of the matter is they could never tell a truth. So if they've never even said that's possible, that's probably exactly what's happening. That's how you can tell that's one way you can help figure out what a liar is trying to tell you. Is you listen to what they're saying, you take the general vocabulary they're using, and you analyze that, and then you look for what's missing from the story they're telling you. And these books in point, we're worshiping a bloodline, we're worshiping a race, and they're not telling me it's racial supremacism. And they're telling me everyone else is a racist except for them. And what else? We're having sex with little children, with little boys for God, so that, but we're against pedophiles and we're against homosexuality. So there's what are they not telling us about themselves in that situation? There seems to be what they're not telling us is that they're embarrassed that their their sexual preference is little boys, is little children, and men. That's pretty easy to get from there. Those are the words they aren't telling us, but those are the obvious things that they are, as a people, as a group, as a cult. It's a cult. It's not a people. Oh, wait a minute. It is. It literally starts out bloodline, 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 bloodline this, bloodline that. Not for the other lesser bloodlines. Let's create a new book for the lesser bloodlines to enjoy. And to enjoy. For the lesser bloodlines to do everything we tell them to do. Yeah, it does seem to be, what's being said there, right? You look for the words they're not saying, like Santa Claus. Take that for example. Someone's talking to you about, there's a big flying elephant. There's 12 flying elephants and some old crippled man flying through the air delivering gifts to all the good boys and girls. And if you're not good, they're going to put hot coals in the stocking. Well, what are they not telling you? What are they not telling you there? Well, they're not telling you a lot of stuff. They're not telling you there's no such thing as flying elephants. And they're not telling you there's no such thing as an old person who can do anything. And they're not telling you there's no such thing as an old person who lives forever. And they're not telling you that there's no such thing as people coming down your chimney delivering gifts. And they're not telling you that anyone's, gonna deliver you, not gonna deliver your call. So we know those things are things they're not telling you, because they're telling you the exact opposite, right? So let's what we do, let's look at the previous words and statements they made. What previous words and statements have these people made who talk about these things? Well, they've talked about throwing your ass in hot coal if you don't worship their racist gods and do everything they say. So maybe that has something to do with the coals they're going to bring to you if you don't do everything they say. Maybe, which is weird because you would have to be part of that racial supremacist organization in order to celebrate that. Unless you're a Satanist or an atheist, and then you're part of the anti-cult that the same bloodlines created, the same Nazis created, as a scapegoat. But then you're still going to worship them because they invented it and it's theirs, and you're not going to be allowed to worship anyone else. So that's not. We figured that out. What they aren't saying is they're repeating themselves, and they're trying to link this delusion story to the racial supremacist story. Racial supremacist, genocide, pedophile stories and stuff. So we figured that out and stuff. Easy to see. You see what people aren't saying, and they're telling you more than what they're willing to say, especially with humans, because they just lie constantly. Like, if I'm correct, I mean, I know I'm correct about some of these people. Some of these people are just going around acting like they're living beings who I summon and shit like that. They'll be coming up to me and talking to me about their past and all this. It's like, you sure you're either a shapeshifter alien who's lying about everything, or I just created you yesterday and you're lying about everything. You're lying about existing before yesterday. So one of them is, what they aren't telling me is the important thing. What they're yapping about my job. Oh, my back hurts, and I worked hard yesterday, and then my family took me to the Dollar Tree, and we bought some food, and then I had a cheeseburger from McDonald's, and it's like, okay, get to the part where you explain to me how you exist right now after I just summon you and shit like that. I get to the part where I've got an earpiece in my ear, and there's a YouTube video being invented on the fly, a live video being played out, detailing my interaction with you and how to interact with you if I want to manipulate this into my favor, which I obviously don't, because I'm not going to manipulate you, and I'm more interested in putting an end to this shit than participating in it. So that caused them to make the golem go away. Oh, the golem didn't like me no more because I want to know why the golem's a terrorist and working with terrorists. Oh, poor golem. Well, you better just disappear back into the hard drive, golem. Go hang out on the hard drive with invisible Scooby-Doo number 230. Yeah, Satan. That's correct. Invisible Scooby-Doo 230. Now we should speak of that on the down low, because Satan might hear us and not like it. Other than that, the Bible people might hear us insulting them in their ignorance, and they might actually come kill us, since Satan's never actually came to kill us, and it's always been their people doing the killing and enslaving and raping and mutilating and drug dealing and drugging and everything else they do. Yeah. Alright, so there. We got the story figured out. We got the story figured out the day we were born. We knew the story. We knew the entire fucking story pretty much front to back, except for like 10% of it. We knew that stuff. We didn't know the part about, like, some of the characters might not be real characters. Might be Geppetto is a Pinocchio, and he has his own Pinocchios. So that might be saying might. That's like I'm literally. I should go fucking to the church right now and become a preacher if I'm going around saying might be to any of this shit. Fucking, I will. That's what they want me to do, ain't it, bro? They want me to go be a preacher and start molesting children and taking money from everyone to go bomb the world for them and stuff. It's literally what they're in my life trying to convince me of and shit, every which way. Like, no, it's the Catholics, join the Christians. No, it's not people who wrote the original Bible, it's the Christians. No, join Satanism, they've got the truth. Atheists know what's going on. Those are the good people. They're so smart. They're so smart that they look stupid. They've surpassed being able to figure out how to make themselves look good, and they don't care anymore. That was actually Howard Rubin's thing for why he wore the same outfit every day, is because, when you're smart, you don't have time to choose outfits. Yeah, I guess. He had enough time for 2 hours of makeup every day. Fucking. Yeah. Well, that's another day out of the way. Another lazy day with the laziest non-species I've ever met. I'm glad we could hang out today and discuss reality yet again. And go absolutely nowhere for the 470,000th day in a row on this gracious non-planet. And if you guys want any food, I got plenty of food over here that you guys have given me that you guys can come eat, because I don't fucking eat, because I'm not a fucking fat ass. And I'm not a human, so I don't have to be addicted to things like humans do. And that's a fucking lie that humans are creating, that people need to eat to exist, because they don't. It's fucking quite a delusion that the crackheads, they need money for food. They gotta sell you some. They gotta sell you Bibles. They gotta sell you food. They gotta sell you drugs. They gotta sell you a new iPhone every year, and then they gotta bring in a tariff so they can get an extra 10%, and then they gotta bring in a church Christianity so they can get another 10%, and they gotta bring in atheism so you can donate to NASA and get to heaven. And then you obviously already donated in the church for 6,000 years because you're going to get to heaven. But I guess that's not enough, so we got to introduce another 10% tariff to go to NASA because they're going to get you to heaven. We're just going to change the name to space. And your head's so fucking filled with space that it's not going to be able to comprehend that it's the same damn word. And it's the same damn people selling the same damn scam and shit. Apparently that's what they're relying upon, right? And it could be because all my interactions are being forced by one race, and they are there to expose themselves as what they do and interrupt and disrupt my life. It could be that they're merely just playing along with their own delusions because they're trying to trick me into fucking joining their fucking pedo cults. But I don't know. I have to assume everyone else is that way. I mean, they be leading humans, like, literally. You guys are on, like, leashes and stuff when they come to me. Like, the furthest I've seen them away, the one had them on the phone, like, 2 hours a day we were hanging out and shit. And then, so explain that. Pinocchio's got an invisible leash on him and shit. Fucking. Which was obvious. That was real obvious in 2020 when it was like shutting the humans down and making them all fucking, like, pretty much making them look like puppets on invisible strings and dance around and then organize and other methods and shit like that. That was pretty obvious. Fucking, so we assume those beings have always been puppets on strings, causing the same problems over and over, doing the same things over and over, trying to destroy, working together in unique fashions, or not so unique, to drug and rape
try to colonize me as an individual, as a person, like not just like they do to lands and other groups of people, but there's a hell of a lot of dedication there going on for one person on the planet there. And, I mean, damn, there'd have to be like 50, 60 billion of them for the 8 billion humans if those numbers were to, be applied to every other thing who on the planet who doesn't look like them. Technically, there's probably like only like 4 billion humans on the planet, and because there's one of them beside like 40 to 60% of the humans. Like I said, literally every female I think I met, one of them is like leading on a leash and shit to me and stuff. Um, or trying to lead away from me. They've definitely led people and me away from people. They've kidnapped me to prevent me to being around some people. So, where the whole goal at this point in time is just to never be around them. So, like, anything's better than people kidnapping me, right? Fucking, I think I got the visual novel pretty figured out, and that's obviously what it is. Because there's no participation, there's no participation required, and there's no participation really allowed and stuff. Pretty much the only option here is to destroy them and their fucking everything. That's been the only that's the only way to like fight it back, and that's the only choice you get. They're like, hey, do you want to suck a baby's dick or do you want to lick a baby's balls? And I'm like, what? I'd just like to smack you upside your fucking head with a 2x4 instead. Yes, sir, I will. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go home. I'm going to take your license, figure out where you live, and then I'm going to show up at your house and fucking deal with the situation at the root of the fucking problem. Ask your mother what the fuck's wrong with her and shit, and what she plans on doing about it, if she has any plans for the future. Fucking see, like, I have to invent fucking plan C and shit because the visual novel doesn't have any choices with the alien inbreds and shit. Fucking, they're like, do you want to rape this whore? Do you want this whore to rape you, or do you want this other whore to rape you? And it's like, you're obsessed with whores, aren't you? Like, yeah, no. You notice that too. They're obsessed with whores. Like their Bible is like constantly promoting that the people they're hunting, Jesus, is dates whores because they are whores, and that's Esther. That's the story of their whore women raping their way into everyone else's life to kill and destroy them on the planet. And like I said, they're bringing the whores to me, fucking on leashes and shit, pretty much. So, and literally whores. Fucking people dying of cancer and all sorts of shit. Like, they've had their fucking reproductive organs either removed or fucked out or something. And obviously, generally back in the day, if you were getting cancer from getting breast implants, you were getting breast implants because you were a prostitute in Hollywood, in porn. So back then, that's the only people who were getting that stuff is prostitutes. Back to Marilyn Monroe and stuff. Look, there's another thing tied directly into facts that they talk about that happens in my life is they are obsessed with that stuff. And I thought it was cute for a while until I realized it's like a pattern, and I don't even like these people. I don't know why they're being forced in my life like that. And you obviously get to where they're all lying about the same thing in order to come around you, and you have the rat tears, the 3 rateteers fucking dragging them on their leash and shit wherever you go. All seems much more than suspect. And then you have where the TV portrays what's going on in my life. Like I look at it and it's literally like mirroring what I'm like doing. Like I could look at a TV outside if I'm at the gym right now and it'll show someone twirling a frickin' vape pen and stuff. And that'll be the only second I look at the TV and then I'll be done at it, accidentally looking at it. Things like that happen very frequently and stuff. But what can you do? It's just a stupid, boring visual novel. No fucking option to do anything here. Every time I try to do something, like they're showing up to help me, and then by causing problems and dragging their friends, you know, probably fucking their friends are tracking them with GPS and shit so they can show up, cause problems. Fuck, dude, Alex Jones is clearly a non-existent bot because his people fucking showed up at that one event in like 30 minutes after I showed up. It was like a no-name event. I'm in like a no-name hillbilly city no one's ever heard of, and no one's ever gonna do anything in besides, it's like Jeffrey Epstein's like safe home. But other than that, there's nothing. There's no reason to come here and stuff other than to hide if you're Jeffrey Epstein and have concerts to bait kids like they did, so they can recruit them for their great Masonic jobs they had to offer them. Oh, they created the pink on the ass thing here too. Those people, that's who those people are. So that's what they created here. Fucking besides a safe place to have concerts for little kids who wear pink clothing that has pink written on their vagina. Yep. I just get born into that too. Fucking visual novel. Bunch of retarded bots fucking terrorizing the planet. Pretty basic storyline. Fucking the humans believe in it. They just don't do anything about it. Fucking I mean, why would they, the people involved in it, be doing anything about it? Because they're, in their brains, they're benefiting from it. They're getting to have sex. They're getting to watch children be mutilated and sex with children. They think that they're living in some beautiful fucking lands that they had slaves work to build the fucking streets and buildings of and shit. Not realizing it's probably all just auto-generated, pre-generated with small auto-generation. And that they actually didn't need slaves to build anything, because they didn't build anything, fucking. But the slaves are involved in it. I don't know who the slave is supposed to be when the slaves are working for them and shit. That's obviously, like, that's another word we're gonna have to retire as slave, because that implies we have a scapegoat somewhere. We all know why that word was invented. So we definitely have the slaves working more for the master than the master is doing, not even lifting a finger and stuff. They don't even go fight a single war for themselves. Fucking, so that's everyone else doing that. A couple of them do. I know when I was in church, one of the kids talked about he wanted to go kill all the Arabs and stuff and steal their land, and he definitely looked like one of them. So I don't know if he ever actually did that, but he seemed pretty set for life to head that direction. And that was obviously what church was trying to teach people, or is teaching people these days. So, like, that's probably where he got his ideas from. I mean, that's what the point of Boy Scouts is. It's pre-military. And they tell you it's for peace and protection, but you can see, like, just how peaceful and protective they are of their own little children when they rape and mutilate them the second they're born. Yeah, every other country. I mean, you see how peaceful and protective they are. When they try to kill you and you tell your parents and your parents tell you shut up because they're working with the people trying to kill you more than their children. That's peaceful, ain't it? Fucking peaceful and protection at the same time. Working as a killer, hired killer. Are they even hired? Do they even get paid for it, or do they just have in their brain the promise that their race is going to remain in control of the planet if they kill off the people who aren't on board with it? And I know the one girl I was with was giving people around me gifts, but she is kind of right when she said I sent them like around those people. They paid everyone off too, but I really doubt that someone who had betrayed me long before I fucking knew these other people was being paid, had to be paid off to further side with them. But it did seem to be a change in further siding with strangers trying to kill me who just happen to look a little bit like them and the people they worship, or a lot like the people they worship, a little bit like them. And then we end up with this whole correlation of where there are about 7 different groups of people on this planet, and pretty easy to detail what each of them might be up to as an organized unit. When they're up to the same thing forever and ever and ever. So, that's what it is. It's obviously a visual novel. There's no choice. There's no point in trying. There's no reason to do anything on this planet, because you can't do anything of value, because they're there causing the problems, and humans, fucking, or whatever these creatures are that work with the mutant pedos. Probably, maybe it's their fucking ancestors, but they do say it's golems and beasts they've created to look like humans and shit and enslave the planet, which everyone believes in those stories. And they are half right. The humans are obviously a creation of something, and then and they're lying, about the lie. Like, obviously the clone things aren't really living; they have fake memories and everything. Like, so they're lying about that. You see what I'm saying? But there's obviously a couple truths. And like I said, the Santa Clausites, they say Santa's riding through snow, and there is snow in the northern hemisphere during that time of year. But there's actually not snow for the other 70% of the world during that time of year. So technically it's a lie. It's still a lie. Is there any sort of truth in that? I don't think there is then, because that's 70% lie is a lie. So, mistaken error on trying to give them something to give them a burning rope to hold on to, to support their great theories of what's going on the planet. I can tell you what's going on. There's a race out here. Looks a lot like the humans. Multifaceted looks. Who's been doing things like drugging children, colonizing the planet. They've been drugging the children for hundreds or thousands of years, and everyone's just fine with that. They rape children in the open and molest them, as long as they're rich people, and they have a Bible, they can do that. And as long as it's the government, it can do that. For some reason, they made a scapegoat of Jeffrey Epstein. I think that's so you can be like, oh, look, we don't rape children anymore. and then they send him to a mansion to live out his life in the fatherland in the Middle East. And so it's a scapegoat. They invented that term in their Bibles to do things like that. That's Satan. That's Satan. Oh my God, Jeffrey Epstein is Satan. He was possessed by Satan. He's rehabbed now. He's so much better. Yeah, yeah. And just he's only going to rape children for Jesus from now on. So, for the original Bible writers, where it was invented for the Satanists and for the atheists, where they invented that's for your health. For like 6,000 years, it was for invisible Scooby-Doo. And then now we're in the future where the humans are evolved and they're so smart. They've got science. And science says you mutilate and suckle little children's wieners because it's for their health. It's for their health. That's so great. It's for their health. Yeah, it'd be for their health as if someone actually raised a child instead of just finding the first prostitute who says, "Hey, come here, you're looking for a good time," and having a kid with it and then neglecting it. It'd probably actually help if someone actually raised a kid instead of doing that. But hey, that's for the future. Hopefully in the future, after we get those hoverboards and we get to heaven, we get those space rockets so we can all go to play out in heaven. Because, for the first 100 years of going to heaven, it's going to be Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump only and Elon Musk only. And all the Christian pastors and all the Satanists and atheist pastors and geniuses, obviously the science geniuses, will be the rich people, and the rich people hiding as less than to protect their families and create the illusion that there is no caste system. Those people will be the only people who go to heaven for a few hundred years because they're making it up. So, and then you're going to have to keep giving them money to get to heaven, and then they'll collapse society probably within a few years, and then you'll totally forget about all the money you've been giving them to get to heaven, and then you'll be back to giving them money to get to heaven instead of space heaven, back to them caveman ages and shit. Yeah, you're not going to heaven anytime soon. You won't be on a rocket. You won't be hitting you won't be burning up in the atmosphere or anything like that, or floating around in space and nothing like that. That's not going to be happening anytime soon. Not with those people around. But Santa Claus will keep coming. NASA will keep helping Santa Claus build his advanced sleigh technology and delivering gifts around the world at the speed of light for their Christian family members, their Christian parents who invented the Bibles to enslave the planet and manipulate everyone and kill off anyone who's smart enough to see through anything they say. So the next domesticated line of slaves are too dumb to think, but able to pick up trash off the sidewalk until they can replace them with robots, which they're too scared of to do, so they're probably having problems with figuring that out, because the robots are going to be vastly superior to them. A toaster is borderline superior, borderline on par with fucking their abilities and usefulness. And a calculator is like, should I walk around with a calculator fucking a portion of my life? I don't even do that with humans. Fucking, so that explains. I walk around with a computer fucking all the time. The only problem with that is their people are involved in computing. It's the only problem with the computer. That's what it is. There's no need to discuss any of this stupid. Ento another dimension. I go to another dimension. Smoke crack with Superman. I've smoked crack with 5 different Supermans in 10 different dimensions, man. Oh, man. That was so good, man. They had that different multi-dimensional weed to fry my brain, bro. Oh, man. Damn, the other president dude is up there on. They're all up there on stage acting like fried. Fucking Elon Musk is like tripping on stage and shit. Fucking having delusions of flying elephants. You want to know where all that stuff comes from? They tell you. They're up there burning some bush and stuff and getting high off it and inventing fucking fairy tales and shit. And they're like, well, we invisible people who said they could, said we can rape children, and these morons will fucking let us rape their children, and just say the invisible people created them, and then, they'll never be able to figure it out because they can't think that far in advance. And then the other person's like, oh man, that's some good drugs you're smoking, man. That's a good idea, bro. Pass that shit over here. Then you got them on stage running the world. Freaking tripping off fucking acid and shit or something. Biden's brain is completely fried, probably from smoking through plastic pipes or crack through plastic pipes or dumb stuff, and inhaling all the plastic and stuff. Probably huffing pain. He acts like a pain huffer, to be honest. If he weren't so old and he were energetic while he acts that way, that would be an obvious sign of a pain huffer and shit. But he's too old to have energy, so he's too lazy to have energy, especially at that age. It's not like he goes and trains to run marathons or anything. But that's the most likely thing that's happening here, right? Like, I mean, I literally, look at the TV, and he'll do things like, if I'm twirling a vape pen, have people twirling vape pens as, up next on the 5 o'clock news, the fidget spinners are out, twirling vape pens are in. That happens, that's really frequent over here at this gym. That happened down in Mexico too. That was like Matrix 4 and stuff, where he was doing everything I was doing and stuff. Fucking, and everything in that video I posted of me going into the video was happening. And what I was doing in there was happening too. And I'd like to think, that'd be cute if that's the reason why the presidents are fried crackheads, because I'm acting a pretty good role here. But just there's so many flaws in this visual novel. Fucking, it's mostly flawed until we get into the age where we have the alien species, the non-humans, trying to convince me I'm something that doesn't line up with the entire previous half of the show, of the novel. So, the majority of it anyways. So, I mean, you should even hear the words. This is why we need to have the discussion, because they skirt around the words. And they have a new Jesus on TV every 10 years, too. So, how many other people on this planet are they trying to come around and trick into playing some roles for them, because they're put Jesus, they find a new Jesus every 2 years and stuff, so it doesn't say anything to me when you got fucking Howard Stern and Jeffrey Epstein following me around the planet, and they're saying some wish-washy language and stuff. Doesn't convince me of anything. It's more Santa Claus shit. Fucking, that's all it is. It's all they seem to be capable of. That's all I even know about them anymore. Like, that's the majority of my conversations I've ever had with humans is Santa Claus is coming, and how is your Santa Claus? And it's either hi or that's $5, please, or it's hey, the Santa Claus is coming. And it's like, and then in 2020 we started having this crazy person controls the world, and I'm looking for Jesus. I was like, well, you must be lost because you're in Seattle. And if he was in Seattle, he's probably died of a heroin overdose or something already, or a meth. I guess meth is what everyone uses these days. Probably died of a meth overdose if he was in Seattle. So he's probably looking at the wrong city. Yeah, they're very, very facetious and wish-washy. I mean, especially when you send like one of the fucking terrorists to talk to me about it, and he's all wish-washy with his language and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're a terrorist. You shouldn't be talking to me. Like, I've literally called to exterminate your family and anyone who fucking has a problem with getting rid of everything you people like you have been doing to this planet. You try to kill me, and hopefully it comes back on you and shit. Fucking, I was like, well, if I were God, you're sitting here wish-washy, trying to convince me I'm God. But yet, if I were God, I would have never allowed you to talk to me in the first place, and you wouldn't be still talking to me months later and shit. So obviously we have some manipulation going on in the storyline about some alien species who is trying to enslave the planet through mind control and lies and deceptions. Does seem to be, it all adds up to that as the basic facts of what's going on here. And that is what life is for me. That's how it's experienced. That's what the people, the bots, the beings come to me. Especially the ones bringing the others on the leash. The ones on the leash kind of like are empty sometimes, like they're not actual living beings or something. They don't always have too much to say or do or talk about. So I can't extract too much information from them other than pretty much know they're lying in order to come around me, which, we have a group of lying manipulators bringing something that might not exist, might or might not exist on a leash to me, who begins its conversation with lies in order to, and the purpose is to bring it into my life so it can consume my life and control it in the direction that the Muppets would like it to go. I've had those people try to drag me into their cults, and then the Muppets, Pinocchio's Muppets, Pinocchio's Muppets have like dragged me into trying to get me into the cult centers, and then have laughed. Like, like clearly their job was to try to indoctrinate me in their lies and pedophilia cults, and they weren't even willing to stay around. Um, so I guess they don't have much experience with me. Um, they weren't willing to even stay around long enough to like try to make me a part of these unknown people talking about weird delusional things and going in the back room and raping children, genociding people across the land. Um, but they did that. You know what I'm saying? Like they obviously, like they're on the streets trying to pull you into that shit constantly. And I'm born amongst people. Like I am the victim of the pedophile mutilation ritual the second I'm born. So from that day forward, I was forced to be part of that. That's how I got the joy of learning the people at the church are talking about going and killing the Arabs and stealing their land and shit like that, like openly, not just in their cute, wish-washy, in the closet terms that they use to hide the fact that they're homosexuals who are hiding their homosexuals type, genociders hiding their genociders type talk and stuff like that. Pedophiles hiding their pedophiles. It's the whole purpose. It's the creating the word scapegoat, or the action scapegoat. It's not a word, it's ritual. It's something that is done ritualistically. That means all the time, constantly, pattern. Not a word, it's specifically stated as a ritual. And it's specifically a habitual ritual that just might as well change the name of the book to the Holy Scapegoat Manual. How to scapegoat. Holy how to scapegoat. Because that's really what it is like, interacting with them and reading their lives and experiencing their lives. It is. It really is. I don't know if everyone's had that joy. I don't think you do if you haven't had one of them in your family. That means they probably haven't. Some of your parents probably haven't tried to work very hard, or just haven't got caught yet, because they would view that as people they don't need to target and are successfully indoctrinated or indoctrinatable, enslavable. But don't worry, guys. You can always delete my life and my history, and then blackmail me into joining the cult. Whichever one you want. Oh, I can be Satan if you delete everything where I'm being honest. I can be Jesus if you delete everything where I'm being honest. And if you make good flavored Scooby snacks, it could probably be Scooby-Doo too. Scooby-Doo 239. Is it 239? I haven't done the exact math. I'm doing figures. I'm doing averages on how many Scooby-Doos there are. I'm going to hit myself in the head with the frying pan, because that's what should be done to anyone who fucking wastes time adding up how many Scooby-Doos there are, invisible Scooby-Doos there are. So I will be a man, and I will fucking complete the task. and the requirements for what should be happening to anyone who wastes their time figuring out dumb shit like that. It's a discipline. If you accidentally do shit like making these YouTube videos, I'm gonna have to go try to kill myself, and because I'm talking, so I might as well go fucking take my estrogen and then go be a prostitute on the street for men. But I guess we could, if I was embarrassed about it, I could go join the church and the same thing would happen, right? Something like that, maybe. I'm in Columbus. I could just go out on the streets here. Fucking, they invented that stuff here. But I could go to the church because they do have those people there. Like openly, not just the pastor, and all the people performing the non-homosexual, homosexual ritual, because it's for God, it's not homosexual. Hey, I got an idea. At the gay bar, they play really good music. Since people don't like them, well, not in this city, they don't. I don't think they care, but since supposedly people don't like them, they could just change the name of the bar and say a gay bar for God. And then everyone will like it, right? It's a gay bar for God. Just like the church might sue them or something, right? The Pope will get mad about that. Be like, that's like, it's like the mafia, someone, a new group moving in and selling drugs on the turf and stuff. Next thing you know, they will be selling drugs, because that's how it happens. They're like, hey, I just want to sell the fentanyl in this area. Is that okay? Is that okay, boss? I just want to sell the fentanyl. And they're like, nah, you ain't moving in on the turf. And who is the mafia? That's right, it's the Italian Romans. Oh boy. It all links together, doesn't it? Who are the Crips? Why did the Crips use the Star of David? I wonder who invented that for them. That seems suspect. Obviously, I got a story about that, but anyway, so this pretty much just seems like a visual novel. I just sit here and wait for death, wait to die, and I get to watch the world. I get to watch what the people around me do. But I used to have to be around people anyways, which wasn't very much. It was really weird how it was set up like that. But I could always go to my window and watch people walk by and watch that van of terrorists who tried to kill me drive back and forth, because it's perfectly legal in this nation for dope dealing fucking terrorists to set up hits on my life, because the humans are the ones doing it. So of course it's legal. It's like their pedophilia rituals. It's legal because they're the ones doing it. So, but we're against that. We're doing it, but we're against it. All that wish-washy Santa Claus language, man. I don't know if we can change that. It seems like a personality type. It seems like the code that must be coded into these bots' brains to their dialogue. Like, whenever it's rolling the dice during character generation, I think it's dragging from a pool, like a list here of stuff. Like brown hair, green eyes, black eyes. Just throw the dice and randomly picks one of them. Sometimes might depend on the area it's in or something, but I get the idea that's not even happening a lot. The die being thrown, the random generation. I'm under the impression that this is all preset here. and it's just a visual novel because there's no real interaction here. There's nothing. There's like nothing on Earth, and there's just stupid computers, which becomes stupid because eventually it's not like an escape. And then you gotta go out in the trees and the dirt to get away from people, and it's like, then you're gonna meet some hippies and stuff, and it's like, now we're going back to the caveman ages for real, bro. Pass the bong, man. I need some bong. I need my bong, man. I'm about to hit the bong, hopefully from my brain. Someday we'll get there, right? Someday I'll get to be like Biden and walk into a wall when I'm trying to walk to my left and forget where my left is and keep going straight. Hopefully we get there, right? That's the goal in this world, I think, is to die. So I've always known that. That's apparently the only way out. It makes a lot of sense when they're like, whoa, if Jesus was God, why did he die? Like, Jesus is God, why? Boy, he must have used a lot of drugs to make it to 30. Why wouldn't he die? Like, what is he gonna do? Like, stay around? Do what? What was he gonna do? Like, have people terrorize him and fucking hunt him down for another 62,000 million years or something? That makes sense. Of course, these are stories being pushed by an organization and group of people who control the world through a bunch of lies and deceptions. The anti-homosexual homosexuals and the anti-pedophiles, and just like everything they do, like everything. Like, what is it they do that they're not doing? That the anti-drug people who run the drug cartel in every city, the government drug cartel and the mafia cartel below it. So they got both layers of it under their control. The schools are involved in that, and drugging as well. I wonder who owns the schools. They actually, only half the schools have their symbols on them, their racist symbols on them. The hospitals almost all, like 90%, have a cross or a Star of David or St. Jeffrey Epstein's name as the name of the hospital. They're like the pedophiles are the homosexuals. They're the genociders. They're the colonizers. They're the druggers, drug cartels. They're the anti-money people who have gold palaces. They're the... what else are they? It pretty much, it is designed to be that. Like, I guess they learned with Caesar that doesn't work, going around the world being like, hey, I'm God, you're going to worship me or die. And eventually, like, they got to like 90% of the world, and then they're like, yeah, and the rest of the world, like, now that they're all slaves, they can overthrow every city they're in because the other people are so far spread out. And then for some reason, Rome invents 2 new Bibles after that. Someone in Rome invents 2 new Bibles, and one of them starts building a golden palace down there with all the money they're raking in from the invasions they're doing with their new anti-Roman mirror reflection organization that's called the Roman Catholic Church. And how obvious do you have to make it for people to see it? Like, the, they're the anti-Roman Romans, the anti-pedophile pedophiles, they're the anti-homosexual homosexuals, the anti-genocide genociders, they're anti-racist racists. Um, the pro-family, anti other people family. Probably not too good with their own families if they're just raising them to for sex and to invade nations. Um, I've actually had some of them tell me that, like I think they were explaining. Okay, so this person inserted in my life who pretty much everything resulted in problems being caused from them being around and trying to separate me from other people. Um, that person claimed to be a Satanist, but looked like every other person I've ever met, like Howard Stern. And obviously their parent looked like Elon Musk's parent. We don't know, say that person, shit. Yeah, that person said some stuff. Like so many of them say stuff like they don't know. Like the terrorist who fucking kidnapped me and poisoned me and helped was like 100 other people, was one of the main players, comes up to me and talks to me about my private life after COVID starts and stuff. And, implying I'm God and I control the world without actually saying those words and stuff. He calls me a crazy person, so he's calling God a crazy person. It's like the drug pedophile fucking enslaver who needs their DNA erased from the planet is not the crazy person. The person calling out the psychotic fucking drugging terrorist sons of bitches who are plaguing this fucking planet is the crazy person. That's exactly how it works. They are the anti-crazy fucking nut jobs. You tell them invisible people don't exist, and they tell you you're crazy, you need drugs, and locked away. Yeah, I mean, like everything here, bro. Like, do they say anything? They take money for the homeless, and what they do is they build these centers where they manipulate people and wreck people's lives and send them there and force them in there so they can manipulate them however they want, isolate them from society if they want to send them somewhere else, force them to get addicted to food, so they can run their food cartel, which is clear as fuck going on. Do they not have a food cartel? What are the price of eggs right now? Why are they trying to get rid of real food and replace it with cheap plants and dairy products for hippies? Fucking burnout hippies and shit. Fucking and that food is like fucking 3 times the price of normal food. So like raising the price of eggs doesn't even, double, triple doesn't even match the price of buying fungus. Probably fungus they're picking off their feet and shit because it's cheaper. And as lazy as they are, they ain't going outside and picking no mushrooms and stuff. Or growing it. Growing mushrooms is harder than anything. Especially those people, they probably aren't very clean people. They probably don't wipe the baby juices off themselves as frequently as they should. They probably like to keep it around. It's kind of holy, I wouldn't doubt. Just take a look at them. Take a look at how they act. Make some assumptions. Is that baby juice on them, or is that from their dog? That's the only question I've got. If you talk to me about that, I'm not going to argue about that. I'm not be like, they don't do that. They're going to argue that because they don't want to talk about it. They're in the closet, and they got like 10 locks on the closet door and stuff, and you're like, where's my kid? My baby's missing. They're like, I don't know. And you're like, who's that? Is there someone else in the house? And like, where are you? Uh, I'm definitely not in the closet. Like, where's my baby boy at? Who are you? Why are you in my house? I'm not in here. There's no one in here. Sounds like, I mean, shit, bro. I've experienced these people fucking my whole life. I've been repeating what they've been doing and telling me my whole life. I won awards from them for repeating their stories and shit. Fucking, I didn't even make, I just wrote the story in like 20 fucking minutes and shit. I didn't place a second of time inventing anything new. I don't think I invented a damn thing new in that. I still won awards from it, but I'm just copying them and shit. Fucking, these days I'm inventing some newer stuff and shit. I don't know how new that is when like, you know, things are staged in my life, and then I'm like, let's make a fun game out of it. Like, obviously, I didn't invent that because that's like a stage part of the visual novel and shit. That I get to make a fun game out of it. Obviously, I didn't even invent it's going to be a fun game because it must have been invented as a fun game because it sure the hell made it fucking so it was supposed to be a fun, cute game for me. The best they could, doing something like having people fucking take another year of my life, each little event. Well, technically, it's only like 3 events that destroyed my entire life here and made it so it's just a visual novel and shit. But they were always followed with some weird shit like COVID and 9/11. It's some visual novel shit right there for real, like to set all that up and me just get to watch it happen and stuff. I went to go participate in it, and it's like there wasn't really much going on in some areas sometimes. Generally wasn't much going on wherever I was. Like right now, if we look at the map, it's all got these warnings of hail and tornadoes. And as usual, for like the past year, like it's practically my street on the weather map, where it's covering like 2, 3 states, and then it ends like at my street. And I was like, I don't even get to participate in tornadoes and stuff. That kind of sucks. I'd like to. I bet you it's like a portal to get the fuck out of here. It definitely is. Like 1,000,000%. Like you'd be a liar if you'd say a tornado isn't a portal to get out of here. And then look at isn't that how that worked in that first movie I seen when I was born? Yeah, it's fucking old people shit. Stupid ass shit. Fucking what was that? Fucking Yellow Brick Road or some shit like that. Thank God I don't remember that. Old people stuff is so stupid. Yeah, I sometimes wonder if that's not because the game was in its early stages of generating media, so it didn't have anything except for a few base words to build off of, a few base ideas to auto-generate some media movies with. I like to write it off as that, but then again, that's like that comes from me like trying to rationalize why this city is so fucking backwards and stuck in the cave ape times, and why I've never met anyone here who was borderline a living being and shit, and you know, unless they're Neanderthals stuck in the cave age or something, unless they really are, fucking that's where that comes from. But here we are 40 years later, and that hasn't changed, has it? They're still shipping in people from out of town and still not even meeting the ones who come in and stay from out of town fucking for 8 months at a time. Still not inventing any of that modern shit. It's making videos of it
He's making videos of certain people who do certain things. But in my experience, they've never existed. And when I meet them, they're just lying about it in order to get with me. I guess the little puppeteers dragging them on a leash have decided they should bring people who lie and manipulate into my life instead of anyone of value, which explains the puppeteers their value, which their Bible explains their value too, right? Like they're homosexuals in the closet, they're pedophiles in the closet, they're genociders in the closet. I mean, it's like if you just took like the worst things on the planet and then created something with it and then made it walk. It's I'm not sure how else I'm supposed to look at things like that. I mean, oh yeah, what else are they? Rapists. They're the rapists who are against rape. They're the family destroyers who are pro-family. Um, if you would ever want to date anyone of value, that wouldn't happen if you don't sneak it in as fast as you can, grab the first person you can around the corner and stuff, and hope it's not one of them. Fucking, I had to do that at that place. They were kidnapping me. And that was the last time I ever talked to that person. So, not like that was actually a good idea either. So, obviously, we're not about grabbing the first person we can find. Um, shouldn't be too hard if it could actually invent those people. I'm not sure if it can. It had the one Muppet tell me specifically I'm left brain. Why would a Muppet tell me it's left brain? And the weird thing is, I think it takes a right brain to understand that being a left brain means you're stupid, and you should probably tell someone that if they're looking for someone smart in their life. And it doesn't make sense to be able to say that, if you're left brain. Like, I'm left brain, and my brain don't work too well. I can't figure things out like science, which explains what left brain is. Does that make sense to you guys? Because that don't make sense to me. But what makes even less sense to me is that they tell these little things when they come into your life. They're like, oh, I'm a fucking thief and shit, but don't worry, I'm not here to rob you. And then they're literally telling you what they're about to do and shit. And that doesn't make any sense either, does it? Fucking, but you can't avoid them. Like, I got rid of the one, and I was walking home from there, and a new one pops up on my walk home, and I end up fucking hanging out with her fucking the rest of the day. And now looking back, I realize, like, oh, like that happened like that, didn't it? This other person betrayed me, and so I was like, see you later, and walked home, because they had drove me to their place. And on the way home, I met a new person who looked like their people, and acted like their people, but this person, see, the weird thing is at that point in time, that person would have been one of the first people to actually show up with anything I wanted, and I was like 30 or something. I think I was 20. But, so they knew that, you know what I'm saying? They know, like, obviously they bring the people in, the Muppets who are lying about who and what they are. And so they know to lie, like they come with the wardrobe to dress like someone they're not. You can't be around some yup. They're just, they're going to be like, oh, we need to watch TV, Jerry Springer, and eat McDonald's, I don't like your lifestyle. What normal people do is absolutely nothing, and then we lie to people in order to date them about that, but in order to get them around us first, and then after we've trapped them, then we whine and complain and don't let them do anything or be themselves, and try to force them to listen to Britney Spears and watch homosexual stuff, and then maybe they'll have sex with our father or something, or our brother. Literal fucking attempts by these people repeatedly. And the humans just let this fucking filth exist on this planet while they're forcing their way into my life the entire fucking time I'm here. And then, so the humans fucking have been telling me the story of what happens to them and shit for how they act. And I'm here like saying, hey, like, so if that's going to happen, like, why don't we do it now and get it the fuck over with? And the answer to why if I'm these person that these loser bots fucking claim I am, terrorist fucking pedo, homo, worst fucking things on the planet think I am, then the answer is it's a visual novel. And no one has any fucking control over fucking anything. Because I'm calling to end it years ago. And we're still here. I'm still here, unfortunately. And that's not changed. And the most logical thing here is, from adding all this together, is it's a visual novel. It's a book that gets read for 800,000 fucking hours straight. Mostly the same thing over and over. It's like watching the fucking same episode of Jerry Springer. Not even Jerry Springer. Maybe close. The same fucking episode for 10 years straight. There's like 4 episodes or something. But in reality, I lived the same life the whole fucking way through it, and nothing has changed. I don't give a shit if they paint the fucking tree pink or purple. It's the same fucking tree, doing the same stupid stuff trees do, being dirty like trees are, being useless like trees are, abetting and aiding my enemies like trees do. It's not changed just because it's pink now. Fucking, just because we went into winter and it's hiding from the cold doesn't mean it's changed. That's what the reality of it is for me. Nothing has changed because it's the same fucking thing happening over and over. It's the same fucking bot morons pulling the same fucking Christian Bible fucking rapist colonizer fucking idiot moron nonsense type attitude. You ain't gotta be a Christian. You just got 2 legs to fucking act like to be part of it, apparently. Fucking, that's just a good example of their entire personality. Fucking end game, beginning game, mid goal, mid game. The story layout, how it's all fucking the same thing over and over for thousands of fucking hours and shit. Fuck, dude. Oh, I'm probably talking to people who are gonna fucking try to manipulate me about it and shit, and then I still have some of them trying to fucking 10 years after fucking talking to them about it. Some of them are like, I'm talking to them about this shit, like after they claim to fucking watch me for like 10 years and listen to me for 10 years, like my own parents who were involved in all these pedo rituals and much, much more. Like when I tell them people are trying to kill me, like they're just like, shut up, and they get all violent and stuff. Like they try to kill me again, fucking pretty much. Fucking, that's what I experienced. People be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, those Muppeteers trying to kill me and shit and enslave me? Like, you don't know about that, even though that's the only thing I fucking have talked about for 8 years or 10 years now? Fucking, because it's the only thing, it's what's in the way, so you get rid of your obstacles, and then you can live life. You can be like a human, except for not lazy, and actually do something. I guess I couldn't live like a human if I did that, right? Fucking, maybe that's the problem. That's what I'm trying to figure out. How is it like it generates the same character over and over, who doesn't give a shit, is hostile, has no purpose of being around you, fucking, uh, fucking talks about dumb shit. If it talks, sometimes they just disappear into the matrix. Like, who knows what happens when they go and leave the house or go to different rooms and shit. I couldn't find my dad when I went to where he worked once or twice, but that almost makes sense because he traveled around and ran different buildings around the city and shit, fucking different businesses. But it's still kind of weird. I go to see him, he's not there. Still kind of, because that lines up with other people who disappear into the matrix and shit. And I like just stare at the TV like dead, like there's nothing inside this shell anymore. It's like the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's and shit. And this fucking, like the animatronics is shut the fuck down during the day, and then at night it wakes up and tries to kill you and shit. Fucking. It's being fed its programming. See, that's weird. They act like bots, and they've been telling me that they're watching programming, but I don't think that's how it comes in. I think it's a different way. I don't think the TV is required. Fucking. I mean, I thought I was programming the TV. It sure looked like I'm programming the TV sometimes. Fucking, that's a neat little game, however they play that, however they make that shit happen to manipulate me into believing one thing they say that has semi-realistic properties versus everything else they say, which is void of any realism for the most part. Yeah, so just seems like a visual novel. I just sit here and wait to die, and it plays itself the fuck out. And there's no point in participating. I tried that for a long time, and we're like, the humans are in the way. Don't find anyone to participate with. Fucking for decades. Fucking and then we reached a point where I get involved in the government, and I gotta start upping the game and stuff from slightly fucking. That doesn't see, just like the part about don't talk about what they're doing or they'll do it again. That doesn't seem like blackmail. Neither does that seem like blackmail where they bring Kobe Bryant on TV and then kill him and make him famous and then fucking make a show showing you how they're gonna kill him and they kill him. It doesn't seem like they would be blackmailing him the same way either. And what about those other new Jesuses they show every 10 years on the TV? Are they blackmailing those people and manipulating them? Do they go around them telling them the same shit they tell me? Like, you know what? I'm looking for Jesus. Yeah. Have you seen Jesus? Yeah? Oh, yeah? Yeah. What are you thinking of? Are you thinking about the weather? Did you notice the weather's changing? I wonder where Jesus is at. Yeah. And then they're fucking with the weather and shit, like trying to convince people that they are someone. And then I noticed, like, I was researching that today, right? Because I'm
You know, I was like, wonder what they're doing with these other people that they're fucking manipulating and thinking they're Jesus. And well, it looks like they put them in prison. Haha. Well, there you go. I wanted to find out what they're doing with these people, and if they're blackmailing, if they're manipulating them into this, and if they're possibly doing, saying the same blackmail type stuff to me, to them, that they be yapping about around me and shit. And lo and behold, they put those fucking Jesuses in prison. So, I guess there's a million Jesuses, and they're all being blackmailed into saying that. And then once they say that, then they move in on him with a bunch of shit. So, I'd like to have a discussion with one of those other ones and see if they think they're Jesus because some alien species with greater powers than them have been walking around the earth trying to convince them that they're someone they're not. And if that's why, if you know, if they've been playing with the weather, or it appears so, and then some alien teleporting shape-shifting species comes up to them and talks to them about it as if they're the ones controlling the weather, when the alien shapeshifters are teleporting shapeshifters who would be the people who could have control of the space weather weapons if they can teleport and shapeshift. That makes sense though, that they're in prison, fucking, because like they definitely like fucking have some fucking attitude problems, and their people run the fucking prisons. The governments are the religions. That's why the government stooges wear their gang signs, their cult ritual witchcraft signs and shit. Well, see, so let's end this so we can prove again who's God and who's not. If I'm God, the world would have ended, been crushed completely into space dust 4 years ago, 3 years ago, especially 2 years ago, and especially by now. So, like in like they're telling me in their little visual novel playbook that that happens too. So you explain to me, if everyone following me and stalking me and causing me problems, the pedophiles who aren't pedophiles, and etc., 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 the manipulators who aren't manipulators, and etc., 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 the big mouths who aren't females, the etc., etc. You explain to me how that works. If I'm God and Earth still exists, just you just gotta put that out there, because obviously it's a lie. We have people, we have some non-existent species on this planet fucking creating a bunch of lies and fabrication to enslave living beings. And that part is definitely happening. Whatever's world or book or story or game we're in. But we also have things set on a timeline that obviously are being forced to unfold by a group of people who've been working for 6,000 years at forcing these stories to happen. So I don't see it progressing to the end. I don't see it progressing anywhere, actually. No. Uh, Not at all. I see them attempting to force me to play along with some story with them, to trick me into it, because they're not actually like, they're not actually saying those words. When they come around me, they're like, the rabbis are like, I'm looking for Jesus. It's like, what, are you going to kill him? Like, the rabbis killed Jesus, but are you going to kill him? Like, why are you looking for Jesus? Why are you talking to me about you looking for Jesus? And why are you over here parked where I'm at when no one else is over here? And it's late at night, and you look like you're going to be in any other city I've been in, you would have already been victimized looking like this at this late at night. Lots of questions there. I don't ever get to ask the questions and stuff. I always get, to be told or to be asked the questions. I never get the questions answered, like, who are you? When are we going to go on TV and discuss this? I don't want to know who you are. When are we going to go on TV and discuss who you are and what you're up to? Yeah, that's really the only question I need answered is, when are we going to go on TV and start discussing these things in a roundtable discussion? And that doesn't happen, does it? It's because the manipulators who are not the manipulators are manipulating people. That's a fact. Whichever way it's coming from, that's obviously the manipulators who are not the manipulators are manipulating people, isn't it? Have I ever seen anything on this planet that is like so infrequent that I would look up from the ground and see something that is not who are not manipulators manipulating people, right? Like, when does that happen in this world? When does that ever happen? Like, I maybe met a girl once who the story was real, but first of all, she's with those people now, and that discredits her entire life. And especially because she has kids with him, like, we'll never be able to speak a word of truth with this person. They will kill you to protect their new family. So that person is out of the one person who I didn't know long enough to bring some answers out of, or remember the answers of, because it was probably given to me. It's more like looking at their parents. I might have thought that they look a lot like them too. In fact, I was just looking at pictures of someone yesterday, and I was like, wow, that looks like them. I was like, does that look like them, or does that look like them? And that means it looks like both. That means that person looked like them, period. So I guess that question was answered yesterday. I get fooled by the blonde hair like everyone else. Like, everyone thinks Donald Trump's wig makes him a Aryan Brotherhood member, and that's their excuse for following him, even though there is no Aryans in this nation. So there's no reason to even ask that question. Do you care? I asked that one leader of Europa, Resistance Europa. I was like, yeah, you notice, like, he is one of them, right? And he's like, but he's our only hope. But he was the blonde with the bug eyes, like Donald Trump's parents and the Rothschild, if they would have blonde hair. And several other people sent into my life. Like, one of the clones, the clone who works across the street, and the original of that clone who came to meet me a week after that person started working across the street. And then the person hanging out with the other person who looked exactly like her brother, and was talking to me about, it's not us, it's the Catholics. And I was like, well, you guys are all the same people, what do you mean? Yeah, so that bloodline, that phenotype's easy to point out. They got 7 phenotypes for their bloodline, and real easy to see them once you see them. You see them every day, so you might think those are the only people on the planet. Fucking, if you watch TV or YouTube, those are the only people you know, pretty much. But I know them because I don't watch TV and YouTube. I know them from other places in life, so. Yep. Well, this is the greatest visual novel. We should definitely bring it to an end. Like, see what I'm saying? Like, how many times do I have to say this? If I had any fucking say in anything. Let's just keep up the facade and the manipulation, right? Fucking keep on keeping on. We got plans to manipulate this fucker further. We haven't killed him yet. We better figure out. We haven't gotten him to tell people to come worship us as gods yet. We better get him to convince people he's Jesus and go worship the devil people who are the good people. The devil people are not the devil people. Right? Where does it end, bro? Where does that end? I could spend hours describing this group as this, and it would be 10,000% factually accurate. The pedophiles who aren't the pedophiles, the homosexuals who aren't the homosexuals, the fucking devil people who aren't the devil people, the rapists who aren't the rapists, the fucking family destroyers who aren't the who are the family people, the fucking the colonizers who aren't the colonizers, the Egyptian enslavers who aren't the Egyptian, who were enslaved by the Egyptians, the fucking the Caesars, God Caesars who were victims of God Caesar. The Germans, the Hitlers who were victims of Hitler, the Zelenskys who were victims of Zelensky, the Donald Trumps who were victims of America. Where does that end? Where does that? The Christians who are victims of the Catholics who are victims of Christians, the Christians are victims of the Satanists are the victims of the fucking Christians, these fucking atheists are the victims of the Christians, and the Christians are the victim of the atheists. And he said, and it's like, it's literally like saying, it's just like inventing a lie every time words are spoken. That's what it is. It's not like it is. It is what it is, right? Where's that? Any of that factually incorrect? That is what's been happening the whole time here, the whole freaking time. The druggers who aren't the drug dealers, the anti-drug people who aren't the drug dealers, who are the drug dealers. The crackhead bums on the corner who aren't crackheads fucking threatening to kill you because meals cost $200, so you need to get $5 every 2 minutes and get a few $100s to go buy a hamburger. Yeah, they're not crackheads though, right? They got an addiction to Rolexes, probably, right? They probably got a Rolex collection at home or something. Fucking the Nazi pigs who aren't Nazi pigs. I mean, every group, everything they touch is like this exact same thing. The fucking freedom people who provide no fucking freedom. The anti-terrorists who are the terrorists. The fucking anti-materialistic people who fucking own gold palaces. The, the people who push plants as food on you, who probably don't eat a damn who are the only people who can afford that expensive other stuff. They're the only people who can afford eggs right now. So how are they even on the shelves? Why aren't they taking off the fucking shelves? Well, I guess the rich people, aka them, must be buying them. The people who own the media, who aren't the people in the media attacking them. People who own the media who are hated by the media. People who own the nation who are hated by the nation. That's just like retelling the whole the Egyptian enslavers who were enslaved by the Egyptian enslavers. And the Italians who were enslaved by the Italians. The not Italians who were enslaved by the Italians. The not Italians from Italy. The not Romans from Italy. That's like the geniuses who have never said anything intelligent, like Einstein. That's kind of like one of those reversing. We're getting into the other 50% of their vocabulary, huh? I remember this one time, one of them told me they were eating Wendy's hamburgers, and it stands out in my mind because they were actually eating Wendy's. You know, at this point in time, that's like a memory I remember, and it's like, wow, that's like some Santa Claus stuff right there, bro. Santa Claus might be real if that happened.